Keanu Reeves had recently settled into a quiet apartment complex nestled in a busy Los Angeles neighborhood. The building wasn't extravagant, but it was comfortable, a modest refuge from the relentless pace of his career. Yet, there was one thing that quickly became a thorn in his side: parking. The narrow street outside was lined with cars, and spots near the entrance were rare gems fought over daily. Since moving in, Keanu had developed a small routine. After every long day on set or at meetings, he would circle the block, hoping to find the familiar spot right in front of his building. It was a small thing, but it grounded him amid the chaos of city life. That spot had become his quiet victory, a brief sense of home. One evening, after a grueling 14-hour shoot, Keanu returned home under a heavy sky, rain beginning to patter down in soft sheets. His black sedan rolled slowly down the street, headlights piercing the early twilight. But when he reached the spot, his heart sank. A shiny black SUV was parked where he expected to find a space. Keanu pulled to the curb, stepping out into the drizzle. A woman, probably in her early 40s, was loading groceries into the trunk. She looked up, surprised to see him. "Excuse me," Keanu said calmly. "I usually park here. Do you live around here?" She paused, then replied, "I do. I just moved in last week." Keanu nodded, trying to keep the tone light. "I've been parking here for a few months now. Maybe we can figure something out." The woman's expression hardened. Parking spots aren't really negotiable. Keanu smiled, hands in pockets. "Of course. I'm just hoping to avoid any trouble." She gave a tight smile and closed her trunk. "Well, good luck with that." That night, Keanu ended up parking several blocks away, the inconvenience rubbing at his nerves more than the rain. As he walked inside, he thought about what had just happened. He'd expected a simple sorry, or no problem. Not this icy tension. Over the next few days, the rivalry grew quietly but palpably. The woman's SUV frequently occupied the spot during Keanu's usual evening arrival. Notes began appearing. "Stop taking MY's spot" on Keanu's windshield, and "This spot is reserved" taped to the lamppost. Keanu tried to stay calm, but felt the growing weight of the conflict. One evening, he arrived just as the woman, who he learned was named Lisa, was getting out of her car. "Lisa," Keanu greeted gently. "Maybe we should talk." Lisa crossed her arms. "About what?" "The spot." "Yes, I don't want this to get ugly." She looked away, biting her lip. "I just need it. I have a lot going on." Keanu nodded, sensing the vulnerability beneath her firmness. "Me too." The street outside became a silent battleground, cars parking early, blocking in one another, subtle standoffs with glances and sighs. Both understood it was more than a parking spot. It was a fight for stability, a claim in a neighborhood full of change. Keanu knew this feud couldn't continue. He needed a new approach. The morning sun filtered softly through the curtains of Keanu's apartment as he sipped his coffee, the lingering tension from the previous days weighing heavily on his mind. The parking dispute with Lisa was more than a mere inconvenience. It had become a persistent reminder of how small conflicts can escalate in unexpected ways. Determined to find a peaceful solution, Keanu left a polite note on Lisa's car the next day, suggesting they meet for coffee and talk things through. To his relief, Lisa responded with a brief, hesitant message agreeing to meet at the local cafe later that afternoon. When Keanu arrived, he spotted Lisa already seated by a window, nursing a cup of tea. Her face was tired but friendly as she gestured for him to join her. "Thanks for agreeing to meet," Keanu said, settling into the chair opposite her. Lisa smiled faintly. "I guess we both want this to stop." They started cautiously, discussing the parking situation itself. But soon, the conversation shifted to more personal territory. Lisa explained that she had recently moved back to the neighborhood to care for her elderly mother, who lived just a few blocks away. "It's been a tough year," she said quietly. Mom's health has been declining, and I need to be nearby. Keanu nodded, relating to the pressure of balancing work and family. I can understand that. My schedule can be chaotic, but coming home to some small comforts helps me keep going. Lisa looked up, eyes meeting his. That's exactly it. That spot isn't just parking. It's the difference between making it on time to see my mom or being stuck looking for a place blocks away. Keanu felt a pang of empathy. I didn't realize. I'm sorry for making things harder. Lisa shook her head. We both have our battles. It's not about blame. They talked for hours, sharing stories about family, work, and the little things that shape daily life. It was clear their conflict was rooted not in selfishness, but in real struggles. As they parted that day, Keanu felt hopeful. Maybe this wasn't just about a parking spot. It was a chance to build understanding in a world that often seemed divided. But just as they began to explore ways to compromise, like alternating days or swapping based on schedules, a flyer on the community bulletin board threw a wrench in their tentative peace. The city council was rolling out a new parking permit system for the neighborhood, offering a limited number of designated spots. The catch: only some residents would qualify, and competition was expected to be fierce. Keanu and Lisa both knew this meant the conflict was far from over. It was only getting more complicated. The new parking permit system announcement spread quickly through the neighborhood, stirring excitement and anxiety alike. Residents gathered near the community board, scrutinizing the flyer posted in bold letters. Limited parking permits available. Apply by month end. Keanu stood in the crowd, watching the ripple of murmurs. He pulled out his phone and scanned the online application details. Only a small number of permits would be issued, and priority would be given based on residency length, disability status, and need. Later that evening, Keanu messaged Lisa. Looks like we might be competing for the permit after all. A reply came swiftly. Yeah, I'm worried. I really need it close by for my mom's appointments. They agreed to meet again, this time with the permit applications in hand. The mood was tense, but beneath it lay a shared understanding of how much the spot mattered. At the cafe, Keanu and Lisa sat across from each other, forms spread out on the table. They went over the requirements, helped each other gather documents, and talked through their chances. Lisa sighed. I don't meet the longest residency criteria, since I just moved back, but my mom's condition counts for something. Keanu nodded. I've lived here a few months longer, but no special status. It feels like luck. The conversation drifted to the broader frustrations of city life: rising rents, limited resources, and the pressure to make ends meet. We're all just trying to survive, Lisa said softly. Sometimes that means fighting over things that seem small but aren't. Keanu agreed. Yeah, sometimes it feels like you're in a battle with everyone around you. After submitting their applications, days of waiting followed. Each glance at the community board or the city's website brought new anxiety. One afternoon, Keanu received a call from Lisa. Her voice was shaky. They approved my permit. Keanu forced a smile, masking his disappointment. That's great news, Lisa. I know it's tough, she said, but maybe we can find other solutions. That evening, Keanu walked home, parking a few blocks away. As he unlocked his door, a neighbor approached with a smile. Hey, I heard about the permit. If you need a spot sometimes, you're welcome to use mine. I work nights. Keanu was taken aback. Really? That's incredibly generous. The neighbor shrugged. We all need a little help sometimes. Keanu realized that while the parking spot had sparked conflict, it also opened doors to unexpected kindness. But the story wasn't over. Later that week, a package arrived at Keanu's door, a small wooden plaque engraved with the words, "Neighbors, not rivals." There was no note, but Keanu knew who it was from. He smiled, feeling the weight of the feud lifting, replaced by something new: community. Days turned into weeks, and the parking spot feud that had consumed Keanu and Lisa's evenings slowly gave way to an unexpected new rhythm. The permit had gone to Lisa, but she honored her promise to share it with Keanu. The neighbor who offered a spot became a trusted ally, and the street, once a battleground, began to feel more like a community. One crisp Saturday morning, Keanu and Lisa found themselves chatting over coffee outside the cafe, laughing about the absurdity of their initial conflict. It was a far cry from their first terse exchange. Then, Lisa glanced down at her phone and hesitated. "Keanu, there's something I've been meaning to tell you." Curious, Keanu leaned in. Lisa smiled nervously. "I did some digging after we started talking. I found out that we're actually distant cousins. Our grandmothers were sisters." Keanu's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "No way." Lisa laughed softly. "Yeah, small world, huh?" It was a twist neither had expected. The parking spot dispute, which had sparked months of tension, had unwittingly brought two family members together. As they walked along the street, now sharing stories about their family history, they realized how much they had in common beyond the asphalt and cars. The rivalry transformed into a relationship, a bond forged through conflict, compromise, and ultimately kinship. Keanu reflected on how a simple parking spot had become a catalyst for connection, a reminder that beneath the surface of every dispute lay the potential for understanding and unexpected friendship. Later that day, Keanu helped Lisa carry her groceries to her car, now parked in the coveted spot. As the sun set behind the city skyline, they stood side by side, no longer rivals, but family. Sometimes the most frustrating conflicts lead to the most meaningful discoveries.